This is the earliest we've ever started.
Well, we can't start.
I started going to the one over the tracks.
Okay,
Right on the tracks.
the old day.
Yeah.
Okay.
They done this. Okay.
No word.
Meeting, she's, I was on a product, but he liked the way they. Was that a rush point?
By 7:15, I guarantee you every regular seat, okay?
Sunshine.
I used to go to them too.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like there's a couple of them, not all of them.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you very much. You might have to be roll. Asking.
Make sure you're open.
She's good. Nothing new. Nothing new. Same old stuff. I told her to send me the stuff.
I had like 90.
I'm going to send it to Jasmine out of curiosity. Different jobs. Yeah, no.
And then
I'll remind her to do that.
reading lessons.
She loved her. Well, she'd better be working at a museum, but she likes to pay. Right. Like, right. And working. Yep. She hasn't had, she's been there 2 years now. She hasn't had to go in once. Oh, well, she would, because it's across the street.
Another 5 years a lot.
You know, what fun is that? You know, I had pens here that are missing. Off the top of your head, do you have the code to get in? I don't have my notebook with me.
I can find it.
I mean, I can get to it. I just thought maybe you had it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seemed like it.
2818, I know is the end of it. I think. I'll get it.
I don't know what it was.
Let me know if you need.
I have a bedtime. Yes. When those cheer. So happy this is the end.
I had the last four numbers. I've got it.
Oh, you do.
There are 11 left. Somebody told me that.
I got one.
Take on two more, like, I definitely wouldn't go for that. You know what we did like? Mr. Morris.
Okay, yeah.
Because I want to break it. I mean, we're definitely gonna do it, but.
You're in agreement, but you know, so like you said, Lisa trying to.
Details, yeah, I agree.
When does she plan on doing that?
That seems like
Soon,
because she
right?
said she has this thing coming up.
That's a- You can see it too. Well, that everybody joins in. I'm just saying, you can see it too if I said it this way. Just sometimes it's interesting to see what people say. Right in.
Yeah.
Because if it's standard on, you know,
You okay?
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sure. You can put a little. Down my sentence, so tell whoever. Down my sentence, so tell whoever. For that.
Yeah, you know, it's gonna take time. Everything. Like,
She's not my usual girl, but. Thank you. Thank you. She does amazing, work. But that's why I don't go to her, because I don't like sitting there all day long. And she keeps saying. So she talked to her earlier. She. You know, I ain't mad about it. You know, look for it. Right. That's all your job. When I had it. Do that because it was too pushback. So I was like, hey. She does a good job. She does. Names to her is always. She is. So. Right. They say I pay for it long. You know? But I just never went to him, so it's no need to start. But I had a weekend, that's my girl. When I'm going, something specific. I was going to be.
Buyer's house, but I think, you know, they.
She recently was in March 23rd. Okay. So she needs to get into a spot so that we can speak about that and right. And 10 o'clock. Yeah, there's a still like no information being right there, so nothing like. Right, go away, but that dude, man.
Yeah, I know.
It just did. I mean, let's see. I was doing just what I do, like the day I came, like. For me, the friends are friends and correct. That's like that. If you put it in the regular person, you know, because they actually don't want to put in bags, like, try to get a box. And pour it in a box.
Right. You know.
If
so
you
what it
was
is, and what
like,
it is.
it's gonna be-
Are they clear?
Yeah,
So,
clear. Yeah. Right.
I'm sure you don't see it again.
Actually need to get, you know what, I'm putting it in,
I did tell the fire.
That's why I voted on
like
it.
trash. They look like little sheds, and you put them in there.
Really? Haven't seen them.
You probably have, but just ain't paying no mind. It's like a shed. But you know, we live behind Snow White's forest,
Right.
and everything
You
gets in
get
the
some,
trash.
right. You get some of every animal.
It's a, I grew up seeing it in my yard. I'm still shy of the tree.
Okay.
We gotta get a new shed. Just actually just bought it 6 weeks ago. I want you to put it in now,
Right.
that ways to be knocked down to take it.
We're all here for you.
What's that?
They're all here.
Right.
Almost everything.
Right. Oh, he got it. Right. So you can mark it, you can put it in.
Yeah, but that's the best part.
See, we didn't know all that. Right.
For a virtual tomorrow. Do you
Right.
we only have 4 wheels? Pacific Film. Zeppelin sits right there. See the Camry's running with some
Ready?
I did not
Ready?
do it, I promise.
Madam President, Verizon Wireless at 7 o'clock.
All right. My mic isn't working though.
Lights are working?
Yeah, none of ours are.
Button all
If you're on
out.
But I can yell if you like,
Yeah.
so we can stay on time. Call to order. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
We will stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll move on to the roll call. Borough manager.
Council Vice President Bernice Clark Dickerson.
Present.
Counselor Douglas Eager.
Here.
Counselor Beth Ann Johnson.
Here.
Counselor Michelle Miller.
Here.
Council President Shante Miller.
Here.
Counselor Michelle Roberts.
Present.
Counselor Walter Stubbs.
Here.
The Honorable Mayor Amanda Havoc.
Present.
Announcements. Council met in executive session prior to tonight's meeting to discuss potential litigations and personal issues. Do we have any public comment?
Madam President, at
Okay.
this time, the public comment would be limited to the appointment of Chief Lawless. So if there's anybody that has public comment about Chief Lawless, this would be their opportunity.
Okay. Presentation and action items. Do we have a motion to approve the hiring of Kenneth P. Lawless to the position of Chief of Police with the Morton Police Department?
I'll make the motion to appoint Kenneth P. Lawless to the position of the Chief of Police with the Morton Police Department. Second.
Yeah, Madam President, before you do call for action, Just as a matter of the record, Mr. Lawless was subjected to both a psychological and a medical examination. He has been declared fit for duty, and we do have a clear background check on file. So and all of the criteria has been met for the appointment this evening.
Okay, great. You can do a roll. Yeah, we can do a roll to approve.
Do a roll call would be Vice President Bernice Dickerson,
Yes.
Counselor Douglas Eager,
Yes.
Counselor Beth Ann Johnson,
Yes.
Counselor Michelle Miller,
Yes.
Council President Shante Miller,
Yes.
Counselor Michelle Roberts,
Yes.
Counselor Walter Stubbs.
Yes.
Madam President, that motion to appoint Mr. Lawless is passed unanimously.
Go ahead and we'll move on, Mayor Hammock. For the oath to be administered to you.
I would ask if you had your own Bible, but I can see that from up here. Yeah, it's rather sizable. So if you'd like to come up. Yes, I was. This Lori, I would shake your hand, but that looks like a two-hand kind of situation going on. Right quickly, I will, and I promised that I would tell this story. And you're already laughing, so you already know where this is going. So in the interview process, the initial meeting that I had with Ken was, he asked me if he could steal a bottle of water. And it was on the table. Obviously, we had bottles of water and individuals to partake in. And he said, can I steal this? And I just kind of looked at him. He had no idea who I was. And I said, sure. I said, I'm Mayor Hammock, and I kept on going. So I told him, you owe us a bottle of water, but it's okay. It's all right. I keep track of those things. I would like to say, I'm assuming most of this is family, friends, and
There's a good amount of family and friends here, yes.
welcome family and friends, and maybe individuals that worked with you once upon a time. You have your new crew on one side. You also have our fire company is here as well. They look like a pretty sizable group together.
Mhm.
And so I don't know how you want to turn. It's up to you. You know, you want to look really good in the pictures that are going over here. Really. I'm trying to see if you're figuring out which side of you was the best.
I'll stand, how about we stand like this?
Okay, all right. See, you're already giving directions. This works. All right. Did you practice? Oh, okay. All right. I'll go very, very slowly. I state your name.
Kenneth Wallace,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support,
that I will support,
obey, and defend
obey, and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania
of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania
and the ordinances of the Borough of Morton,
and the ordinances of the Borough of Morton,
and that I will discharge the duties of my office
and that I will discharge the duties of my office
as the Chief of Police with fidelity.
as the Chief of Police with fidelity.
Forgettable line, but I will say this, I'm gonna say it to your family and friends. I say this to every officer that we bring in. Thank you for giving him to us. We understand what that means. We understand the sacrifices, the time and all of that goes into dedication.
Thank you so much.
We promise to do
Looking forward to-
everything.
thank you
we
for
can
anything.
to safe. And we hope
you.
that he is happy to give us that bottle of water back.
Thank you.
And it's been a long time coming. I told him he had a whole 8 hours of freedom to celebrate today, and then we start bright and early tomorrow morning. We do have our photographer that will be in the gym for pictures and kind of get everyone to meet. I do not know if any one of our, well, I'm gonna put one of you on the spot. Which one? You're gonna play rocks, paper, scissors? That want to say hi and, hello? Come on up, Officer Kelly. I saw that already. Scott was like, no. Actually, yeah.
they
you guys
are,
are-
yeah, you should.
I'll just say something quickly. First, thank you, council. Thank you, community. On behalf of the police department, we're super excited to have you. Again, we already met earlier today, but I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is most of our officers here from Department. You guys wanna,
I did say hello, I did shake everybody's hand, I just want to say thank you all, it means a lot to me that you take the time out of your day to come and see me get sworn in tonight, and please, if you can, I'd love to get a picture with everybody before you guys leave, so thank you all very much, it means a lot, we really look forward to working with you, and we're going to do great things here, so thank you.
thank you. So we can jump to them now, or?
Yeah, that way we can.
Family, friends, other officers, we'll just jump to the gym.
Unless, sorry, Madam President, would you like to speak?
Yeah, congratulations again. We'll just take a brief 2-minute recess just as we're having movement and we will reconvene once we clear out a little bit here.
Thank you so much.
I did it.
You guys.
We'll do a lot of talking, so we got back in here. Mom and Dad. Mom and Dad, congratulations. Yes, they're all from his family. Everything anybody out here was north about.
The ones in the back.
They were from our town. Yep.
Before we start,
There we go.
Good to see you.
We'll be short today. Ain't nobody here to complain.
Should we go out there and sit in the audience and make it build up a little?
I just said, oh, we gonna be short today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here you come.
Right on time. So you wanna bring the boarding?
Yep.
No, you know he won. Right, he got a whole bag too.
Right.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, how are you? Thank you.
Thank you.
This is neglected to be on the agenda tonight.
It was neglected because you just got it like we got it.
No. We talked about it at the last meeting, about to get for the okay to get this to sign.
But remember, we had requested information from her just so that we could, you know.
Needed information.
Blown away. Being so young.
Hollywood had a movie star.
Information, right, well, that's what Shelley was saying. Well, that's what she, yeah, that's what Shelley was saying.
I think you have some neat jobs.
I didn't think she was born.
I know.
Filled the creamer, put new cranberry sauce in.
I mean, it would be nice if we could get that straight.
It would be very nice. I mean, you don't have nothing like that. He's right. Mhm.
So you gotta fill out that red mark.
The red marker you can see,
I can read it.
I can read it for you.
I think we can,
Well, we don't need to-
yeah.
Madam President, before we move forward into the meeting, I did have a request from Ms. Jackie Guy, who is the school board representative for Springfield. Just wanted to give a quick update about the renovations that are currently ongoing throughout the school system in Springfield.
You can go ahead. We can proceed. You can
Okay.
get up and speak just a few minutes.
Jacqueline Guy, I am your school board director. Just two quick items. We are almost ready to get ETR's air conditioning up. Unfortunately, the one piece of equipment that powers the entire system is somewhere out in the shipping lane someplace. So once that comes in, we will be ready. We're hoping for May, June of this year. If not, it'll definitely be ready for the 24-25 school district, and that will actually be the last one. And then all of our buildings will be air conditioned. Number two, in a few months, I would like some time, if I could, to present the tax situation that I usually bring forward. When it's tax time, we haven't even started talking about it yet, so I'm looking more like April, something around that time, so that I can just present the taxes to the board as well as to the residents. And that's all I have. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
And Madam President, Lisa Lockley would like to address council with a presentation regarding the signage at school in Walnut and providing a memorial for William E. Rice, who was a Tuskegee Airman, and having Walnut named in his honor.
Amen.
We can proceed with that presentation.
Good evening. My
Good
name is
evening.
Lisa Lockley, 114 Harding Avenue in Morton. What you have in front of you is a proposal. I want to introduce my chaplain of the Teens for Positive Empowerment. This is Abby. Hi, Abby.
God bless.
Okay, under the proposal, which is the second page, for William E. Rice, the street sign unveiling, and it's Morton Borough Council meeting, January 24th. Introduction, who was Mr. William E. Rice? Mr. Rice was one of the last surviving Tuskegee Airmen pilots who fought overseas. He died Sunday, November 27th, 2022. He was 98. A hometown hero, he is remembered for being one of the original Tuskegee Airmen. Mr. Rice flew 34 combat missions. One of those missions, he helped escort B-17s, bombers over 1,600 miles into Germany and back, shooting down 3 jets. Mr. Rice received the Congressional Gold Medal in 2007 for his service during World War II. And this right here, you can see anyone that doesn't know what he looked like, that's what he looks like. And he also has a hometown hero banner, mock-up out in the hallway. If you look at page 3 or 4 rather, the date of the event, we were doing the target for him for Saturday, March 23rd at 10:00 a.m. on the 200 block of Walnut School Street. Immediately following the ceremony, the Greater Philadelphia Chapter Tuskegee Airmen will be available to answer any questions. It's a possibility that we will have 3 of the original airmen and 1 nurse at the ceremony. The Tuskegee Airmen pins, hats, books, and much more will be on sale at the Morton Borough Hall. All of these things that if anyone purchased them, goes towards the scholarship for young people. The Teens for Positive Empowerment Club will be selling event T-shirts in the near future. They're having a contest starting on Saturday, where one of them will actually win that opportunity to have their design on the event T-shirt. And the name of the sign, which was approved by his daughter, was the William E. Rice Way. Okay, and the last page, it actually shows where, it will be on Water and School Street. So that's just a quick, synopsis. I don't know if anyone has any questions. But we're hoping that you approve this, opportunity to honor this, definitely a hometown hero in Morton.
Amen.
And not everybody gets to have a Tuskegee Airman in their town. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Thank you, Abby.
So, Madam President, with the pleasure of the board, I would be very happy to work with Ms. Lockley directly to make sure that we come up with I'm gonna let the engineering slip out, MUTCD, Manual and Uniform Traffic Control Device Compliant Signage. And I will work with Ms. Lockley to make sure that we have a design, and the recommendation would be to place the William E. Rice Way directly on top of the Walnut Street sign. This way here, it is a local street, so it is up to the council if you would like to have it. It would be very similar to the memorial signage that is on Morton for the fallen firefighter.
And also, excuse me, thank you. Also, I did talk to the Scott, and he knows where he wants to actually block off and do whatever he has to do for crowd control on the street.
The council won't be voting on this tonight because it's not on the agenda, and with the sunshine law changes recently, they can't vote on it tonight, but they'll put it on the agenda next. for
Okay, can I ask
February
a question? I was wondering, I know that the sunshine law has to do with transparency. Am I correct?
14th. That's part of it, yes.
Okay, because I did put myself on the agenda and I don't know what
So-
happened, but,
This agenda, it dictates what council can talk about tonight because there's been recent changes to the way the sunshine law is interpreted. But they will put it on the agenda. Mr. Stewart will put it on the agenda for next meeting on February 14th. And then we'll be able to vote then.
okay. I just wanted to know what I had to do to put it on there because I did come up and put my name down to be on the agenda for tonight.
Well, I mean, so ultimately, I'm not sure what. you did.
I believe the board has heard the presentation. I know we've spoken about this at multiple meetings. We've got 2 meetings per month. We have an agenda meeting and a regular meeting. The agenda is more like a workshop and don't typically take action unless it's a necessity of the board. So it's very limited, the action items we would take at tonight's meeting. The regular meeting on the 14th of February is when we'll take formal action to approve it. But it doesn't preclude me from working behind the scenes to make sure that the sign is being fabricated.
Okay, because the reason I'm saying that is I have to send off letters to, to Jennifer O'Mara. Okay, all right. All right,
Ms. Lockley, I'll give you the permissions to send the letters, and I'm sure your event is going to be approved on the 14th.
okay.
Amen.
Thank you again.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have to Zoom meeting with the Tuskegee Airmen, so I'm late now, so I have to leave. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and move on to committee reports, starting with Public Facilities and Infrastructure. Counselor Beth Ann Johnson.
Thank you. I just wanted to say, thank you to everybody. We got this room cleaned up for our meeting tonight. So we're looking to clean up the borough a little bit, the hallway got cleaned up, so we have more room in this room. I also wanted to just say a reminder about snow. So, I'm just want to ask that the residents not throw their snow into the street. And if you could move your vehicles into a driveway, if you have one, that would be great for the next upcoming snow. We do have one, I need to talk about that. That would be great, so then the plows can come through if your cars aren't on the streets, okay? The next would be an update on accepting the COVID-19 PA Small Water and Sewer Grant in the amount of $262,057 for high priority infiltration and inflow reduction project at a 0% match. It's all you.
I've already, I've updated the DCED office to let them know that we've had a change of leadership at the council table. So it would be myself as the borough manager and Ms. Miller as the council president, who would be executing all documents. We submitted to them, I believe we call it the EIU number, which is the number that's generated through the SAM system. So they have that information and they are in the process of preparing the contract documents to be formally accepted. So I would expect that probably by next meeting, we'll have ink to paper contract to accept the grant monies. And at that point in time, it'll be council's responsibility to charge Catania and Catania Engineering with the preparation of the contract documents.
All right, thank you very much. Any questions for Bill? Second item would be an update on accepting Aqua's contribution in the amount of $265,000 for the trench and road restoration at North Morton Avenue, Providence Road, and Highland Avenue.
Yes, Ms. Counselor, Aqua has prepared a letter which was executed by myself, the borough manager. They are now in the process of cutting the check, and he's anticipating that it would be 2 to 3 weeks before a check is received here in the office. That $265,000, as previously discussed, is earmarked for making sure we do the paving, trench repairs, and overlay of Highland, Providence, and North Morton, where the water company has just recently renewed those mains. I don't want to jump too far ahead, but Counselor or Catania Engineering had made a recommendation that similar work was done in Rutledge as well. So Rutledge is very much in the same position as Morton, where they received a contribution from Aqua. And Mr. Catania has requested council to take action at this evening's meeting to give him permission to advertise a combined road program, which would include roads both in Rutledge and in Morton. You know, and just the higher the quantity of paving that you do, typically the cheaper the price. So it would be advantageous for us to join with Rutledge. Morton will be taking the lead on the proposal since we will be spending more dollars than Rutledge. And Catania has assured us that he would be able to keep those costs separated so that Morton would be able to submit accordingly to the liquid fuel program to get our reimbursement from the Pennsylvania program for liquid fuels.
Question from council. How long will we be waiting to proceed with repairing some of our roadways?
I think that's why it's important that Catania gets this permission tonight to advertise the contract. I would say that you're probably looking somewhere in early to mid-April before he would be out there actually doing some work. In the interim, I know there's some potholes that have been created, and we'll go out and make sure we do repairs with the Public Works Department.
And make sure that let Charles know that to thank him for doing what was suggested, to contact Rutledge. And I know that the number of roads they have that need to be done are substantially smaller, but at least it's something.
Any other questions, comments? No? So number 3 was the discussion about replacing the gas furnace for the foyer area near the public restrooms.
Unbeknownst to me, since it was done prior to my tenure, when the furnaces were replaced on the gymnasium, they had actually removed the furnace in the foyer area, and our Public Works Department had the foresight to actually save that old, well, it's not an old furnace, it was a perfectly good working furnace. And we're gonna be, instead of having to buy a new furnace, we're gonna dig out the janitor's closet, get the previously slightly used furnace that we already have and make arrangements to have that installed. and a significantly less cost than replacing brand new.
That approximate cost?
The cost to replace was looking around 10,000. And I would say the cost to put the older furnace in place, less than 1,000.
Any other questions or comments for Mr. Stewart?
Nope.
All right, we already talked about, number 4 with the discussion about combining the 2024 road program with Rutledge Borough. The next one would be discussion about updating the code related fees.
I'm gonna lean on Ms. Preston for this one because we're going on my 3rd year here as borough manager. We've never increased our code fees. So I'll lean on Ms. Preston. How many years ago do you think it was since we evaluated code fees?
I think dire need of feeding.
So what we'll do is, we'll work with Catania Engineering, look at what our surrounding communities are charging in regards to code-related fees, building permits, electrical permits, plumbing permits, roofing permits. Get a recommendation from Mr. Catania here in the next couple of weeks, and then we'll bring those findings forward to council so you can take appropriate action.
Sounds good, thank you. Next would be an update and review approval of the street opening permit submitted by the developer for the Wawa Bank of America project in Springfield Township, and I would ask Solicitor Ewald to speak on that.
Yes, so council has taken this extremely seriously because they know it's an important issue to the residents, and a number of council members themselves were very concerned about the Wawa proposed development going in at the corner of Leamy and Baltimore Ave. What council did in order to evaluate that is they actually hired their own traffic engineer and had that traffic engineer evaluate the impact of that development going out onto Leamy, specifically with left-hand turns out of the property. Now, our traffic consultant came up with a report. That report, he's on vacation this week, but that report will be available to the public on Tuesday. And that report did not back up the borough to oppose left-hand turns out of the Wawa. He raised several concerns about it, but ultimately he said that he thinks it's safe. And so the concerns that he raised, we took to the developer, and then I do want to be clear, Wawa is not the applicant in this. It's the owner of the property and the developer of the property who's the applicant. So we shorthand a lot of times say Wawa, but this is the developer of the property. Took those concerns and has agreed to address those concerns. Every one of them. The only one that he couldn't address was we did have a concern that it would be best to have a sidewalk that continues from the corner down into down through the whole length of that block. But the neighbors were not willing to permit the sidewalk on their property. So there will be a sidewalk on the whole length of the Wawa property, but there won't, it'll terminate at the end of the Wawa property. The concerns that our traffic consultant raised, the first one was that in order for the proposed lane changes to work, they would have to acquire some land from the Bob's Furniture property across the street. And the Springfield Township has actually already obtained that land, so that concern went away. The second concern that he raised was that the timing of the light needs to be set, and so that it effectively removes removes as much of that traffic from Leamy each time. And so the developers agreed to work with us to develop an agreement with Springfield Township so that Springfield Township, who has control and management of that light, doesn't unilaterally just change the timing so that it upsets or undermines the ability to clear lien. The third thing that he had concern about was that he wanted to make sure that because there's no left turns allowed into the property there was a barrier created in order to allow physically, deter people from turning left into the property. And what they're doing is they're going to put in what's called a pork chop island, which allows right turns in, but does not allow left turns in. So they addressed that issue as well. He wanted to make sure that the striping of the lanes was done in a way that he thought would effectively control the traffic going left, as well as the traffic continuing straight through the intersection. And they've agreed to work with him so that he has approval over the striping of the lanes. He had some concern about the stormwater because they're creating a new lane there and it's a hill. And they have agreed that they're going to control and contain all the stormwater from that additional lane into their stormwater mitigation devices. So each of those things that were raised by our consultant, they have agreed to address. And in addition to that, they've also proposed a couple of things to try and make sure that it does work safely. The first thing is, obviously there'll be a stop sign there at the driveway. They're going to install do not block the box paint stripage at that driveway. And then we're going to have what's called a look back period. So 6 months after construction is complete, they're going to meet with our engineer again, and they're going to evaluate is the traffic control device working appropriately. And one of the things that they've committed to beyond just looking to make sure that the traffic flow is working appropriately is if the traffic isn't working as we want it to work, and the borough feels that it would improve traffic, they will actually install all-way stop signs at that driveway. That's not going to be done right away. That'll be done at the look back period if it's determined that it's necessary or appropriate at that time. They are reimbursing us for the cost of our traffic review, and they've also committed to installing traffic improvements at 2 of our local neighborhoods that have been impacted by traffic, and in order to try and improve the speed control and improve pedestrian safety, they're agreeing to install traffic control devices both in the neighborhood immediately adjacent to Providence, so the Althea Lane neighborhood, and then also on the other side of Morton on Walnut Street. So we're going to be having a meeting with those neighborhoods in the next few weeks in order to get their feedback and have them understand what's being proposed. But those are the two, Walnut Street has been by far the neighborhood that we've had the most comments from the public on with regard to traffic control and speed control. And then obviously we installed a bunch of speed and traffic control devices on Providence, and we've had some complaints from the Althea neighborhood that has diverted some traffic into their neighborhood. So we have the developer presented a specific plan for how to try and deter that and control that. And then they're willing to adjust their plan under the supervision of our traffic engineer based on the feedback from the community. So it's not 100% set what that plan will be. We're going to present that to the community, and we're going to have an opportunity for feedback from the community. But ultimately, council was as concerned about this as you, and instead of getting, if the traffic report that we received from our own expert had have said, this is going to cause safety issues, this is gonna be a problem, then we would have devoted the resources to try and fight it. But our own traffic safety engineer had the opinion that as long as these certain measures are considered, it will not cause an increase in risk and safety, and that it can, that left turnout is safe. You know, because the borough has to follow the direction of its own expert. So that's where we are on it. The developer has filed an application for a street opening permit. That's a routine thing that's handled by the engineer's office, and will be processed through our engineering department.
Madam President, there was one citizen that signed up on the board to want to speak specifically about the Wawa. My direction to him was as if we would wait until we got to the open discussion. However, I'll yield to you whether you want to allow him to speak now, since he may have specific questions of what Carl had just explained, or just defer it until open discussion.
I will allow it. You are allotted 3 minutes.
Yes. Well, I mean, most of the.
Just giving you the time, you know, but yes, I will.
What's your name?
Al Woodine. I live on Providence over here.
Okay.
I did this, if you please. This is what they don't show you, the engineering. You can tell all of these are, the cars are coming out. This is a chaos on my street. That's without the Wawa. The X's are the bus stops, the school bus stops. These are the X's. Okay. This is the highest rated accident street in Morton and Springfield. It's actually the second. This street, it's all accidents. The police officers are on this corner every single morning. No one stops at the stop sign. No one obeys the law. So what they're telling you, the Wawa, where they're gonna put here, this is not gonna work. We have two outlanes, two Limi from the car wash that goes both ways. They go up to the light and down. So you have two. The same thing from Coles. Okay, and you have the same thing from the apartment buildings over here. And from the streets here, there is no nothing, just a stop sign. Everybody goes everywhere. Kids, almost they get hit every single day on this street. Most parents and the police are standing there in the middle of the road just to make sure none of them get slaughtered. All the kids. Everybody's talking about public street safety and traffic. They're not talking about pedestrian safety. No one is bringing it up. And that's the problem we have. We don't care about the cars. The pedestrian safety, that's our problem. We all have kids and grandkids. Are they going to listen to you when you tell them do not go into the Wawa? They're not going to listen. There is no pedestrian access to the Wawa. It does not exist. The only access is from Baltimore Pike from here, which is they don't need. If you're already on Baltimore Pike, you don't need to come down Laney. So this is just bull. Wawa put it there, the engineering just, okay, we did this for you here. This does not work. All the students here, believe me, they will go into the Wawa in the morning.
Madam President, I got about 30 seconds left, just.
Okay.
You know.
There is no access pedestrians. There's nothing. And this is the risk that no one is looking at the pedestrian. Everybody's looking at traffic. Is it going to be extra? Wawa said it's going to be 30% extra. I don't care about your percentage. No one is here from the Wawa or the engineering. They're not here. They have 3 meetings with you guys already. They didn't show you anything, no plans or anything. They have no respect. Not for us, the residents. They have no respect for the borough. They have no respect for the councils.
Madam President, I've expired
Okay.
3 minutes.
So this
Thank
is,
you so much.
I understand our
Appreciate it.
concerns.
Absolutely, and we appreciate this too.
And I'll show this to our traffic engineer.
Please, they don't see this.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
I'm done, yeah, thank you.
Okay, we're gonna move on to finance and administration. Council Vice President Bernice Clark Jefferson.
Good evening. First on our agenda are letting you know that the 2024 local real estate bills are scheduled to be mailed out on around February 5th. For everybody, so you should be receiving them. And our annual refuse trash, the first quarter sewer bills are scheduled to be mailed out on or about February the 1st. So you should be looking for them in your mailboxes soon. We're gonna talk about we're requesting proposals for our banking services. As you have been hearing all along, we've been having problems with the Bank Republic and we're looking at new bank. So we are gonna ask for a bid to go out for proposals for obtaining our new banking service. Right now, we're still at Republic and we'll let you know when that occurs, if the change happens. Next would be the look at hiring a full-time public works assistant in regards to Morton Borough. We have looked at the workload, looked at what's going on, updating job descriptions, and position was still available within our budget line items that never was gotten rid of. So we're looking at bringing that position back in place at this point in time, if the board votes on it, council. So, those are the things that we're working on at this point in time. Any questions?
Thank you very much. Bill Hefner, 571 South Old Middletown Road, Media, PA. I also have many businesses here in Morton. In regards to hiring a full-time person, have you figured the cost of a full-timer? Because the budget got modified before, and I would estimate a full-timer would cost a borough about another $50,000 a year between payroll and benefits.
Yes, we looked at it and we're looking at liquid fuel.
I was just curious, before you finally vote, to find out how you're gonna finance it, if you decide to go forward.
Yeah.
The second thing is I remember last year that Mr. Stewart interviewed four part-time maintenance people. And I think they were offered like $17.50 an hour. Are we not using their services instead of hiring a full-time person?
The last time our part-time employees were used was over 3 months, And then we had some concern about employees talking about part-timers saying they refused to work with our full-time positions. So we're looking at, we felt the position was already there. And with the workload that's coming through at this point in time, we felt it's best to go with the full-time employee.
So adding this full-time person, what additional duties will they be doing? Because I know William is busy with the building and stuff, so would that be more like groundskeeping and stuff like that for the second person?
We haven't developed a whole job description as of yet, but yes, they'll be adding to what William's doing. Because William, and just this whole week with the snow, he put in over 20 hours of overtime.
Well, that's fine. I mean, he gets time and a half, which is fair because he's working his butt off.
Yeah, but we
But
don't want to
again,
pay.
it snows once every couple of years.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, well,
yeah,
we don't know that.
thank you for taking care of the
Yeah.
streets. But again, this is just a one-time incident, maybe a little more so, but then after that, I was
But his
just curious.
duties have been increased. What we're saying is everybody's job descriptions have changed and are changing. And we're looking at adding to the workload. So the position was already in position. We wanted to keep it there. And so we're looking to bring the full-time in. I can't tell you exactly what that person's going to be doing at this time.
Okay, well, I just wanted to get an idea, because, again, I thought we had some part-timers that were interviewed by Mr. Stewart, and that these could fulfill the roles, when the summertime hits, and we have the grass to cut and things of that nature.
Well, they didn't, again, they couldn't work because we couldn't guarantee them full-time hours. So again, we
Well, they
can't
were
say anything
part-time
like
hours,
that.
not, Well, they wanted full-time hours. They wanted.
One
a
person
full-time
did.
position.
That I was unaware of at the
Okay,
time.
but that's it. That's where we're going at this point in time. Thank you.
All right, that's my question for right now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I just ask a question? In regards to the trash and the sewer bills,
Mhm.
are the formats going to be the same where they'll come out for the first quarter with both being together?
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Well, we're gonna move on to public safety. I have nothing to report other than welcoming the new chief of police, which we already have done. We're gonna now move on to public health, sanitation, and recycling. Counselor Michelle Roberts.
Good evening, everyone, and I also have nothing to report, but I will ask the borough manager as we go forward with our recycling that we will be getting reports from B&L in regards to tonnage.
Yeah, that's correct. What I've asked B&L to, do moving forward is to capture the amount of tons that we have both on the recycling side as well as on the municipal, solid waste side. So we've got historical data for the amount that has normally been going to the landfill. So now we'll be able to track and see how much has been diverted, with the, recycling process. So yes, moving forward, you're going to have two numbers,
Okay,
actually three numbers. Solid waste that we had previous years, and then a combination of solid waste and recycling that we had the previous month. So the February meeting. I only turned my ringer on because I had to do the timer.
I thought you tried it yourself, honestly.
So you will get two numbers,
okay,
three numbers.
all right.
I do apologize. I normally have the ringer off, but
No,
I wanted to make sure that we did have the alarm going off.
And also in regards to the grant, have we gotten anything in regards to a consulting, any update in the status?
We have not heard anything as of yet, so we did submit for a technical assistance grant through DEP, and we have not received any information back yet.
Okay, I yield back my time.
Ms. Roberts, can I ask you explain to, the audience again about the, recycling? As I mentioned, my recycling can was stolen. So we knew what to put out, can't use regular trash cans. Go ahead.
Okay, far as the trash cans, I know that they tend to not want you to put out your trash can. I know we all had our own recycling containers. I know at one time they were adamant about the use of other containers. And I personally would say a cardboard box.
You can put on a trash.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you do have them.
We will
Okay.
help you.
All right, so if there's anyone out there that needs a sticker, you can come to the borough and get a sticker. This way your container will be tagged and they'll know that that's the appropriate container to recycle with. So, and so I was adamant because I was using plastic bags or a cardboard box. So this way they can just take it.
Well, they
Okay.
can't take a plastic bag.
Well, if it has all the items in it, they can just throw it in. Not a clear plastic bag, not a plastic bag that you would just throw out that you get from the supermarket. They can't take those, correct?
Yeah, but some of these were on the counter, at the office. And then I always have some with me.
All right,
You have a question in the back?
Drop off for the recycling on the borough grounds, is that going to remain?
yes,
Yes, Ms. Roberts, that dumpster is placed there at the courtesy of Delaware County Solid Waste Authority. And they actually will continue to have that service in place. And they are kind enough to give us credits towards this performance grant to on the amount of tons that is collected out of that dumpster.
So that'll go along with the recycling fund, all those numbers go together.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Law and ordinance, Council Michelle Miller.
We don't have anything on the agenda. If anyone has any questions about anything or something, you know, about something in the borough, feel free to contact me. And the committee will discuss things. But there's a few things that Mr. Ewald and I have already discussed, but is not ready to be brought up as yet. Mr. Ewald, is there anything to say?
I don't have anything more to add to that.
Okay.
Community and Economic Development, Counselor Doug Eager.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
A couple of updates tonight. I'm still getting acclimated to some of the programs that I'm going to be involved with. The comprehensive plan and zoning ordinance update, which is the CDBG funding. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. but did you say February 14th is the next meeting?
That is
6
correct.
o'clock.
I was able to confirm with Bergman that they will be here 6 o'clock on February the 14th.
Great. So I know Mr. Hafner, you had a question about that. So I will be here as well. And that's the next meeting for that. And I'll dive in and get as much information as I can about that.
Did you get an email today?
I did not.
I asked them to put you on the email, but they might not have yet. But what he'll do is about the Friday before the meeting, excuse me, he'll send out a blast email, and that will include everything that we've covered up to this point.
Okay, great. That sounds great.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Excuse me,
Yes.
I'm wondering, I'm on the stand committee, I never get an email. I always have to call Holly and ask her, or text her and ask her when is the meetings. I never get an email ever.
Okay, we will make sure to get you on. So the next meeting is February 14th. You want to come to that, and then we'll make sure that whoever we need to speak to, we'll make sure that you have all of your contact information. Okay?
Yeah, thanks.
Next is a discussion about the DVRPC transit-oriented development. And I had to kind of look up what all this was about. The POD transit-oriented development is it's a project to maximize the amount of residential, business, and leisure space within walking distance of public transportation. So, as you know, we have a huge hub with the train station here. So, this is a pretty important project. So, that is, I'm not sure. Do we know when that next meeting is, Mr. Sir?
What I expect is that both David Schwartz and myself are trying to coordinate a meeting with Springfield Township. This would basically be a joint effort if we were to move forward with a TOD or transit oriented development project. It basically goes hand in glove with the comprehensive plan. So what Collier and Bergman's trying to do is to say, hey, now that we have your comprehensive plan, let's take action and follow a comprehensive plan.
Sure.
So he'll be able to speak a little bit more in depth at the February 14th meeting. And we'll be able to make some commitments if Springfield is going to agree to go in with a joint venture on the grant submittal.
Okay, sounds good. I will make sure to take lots of notes and report back. Next is updating the new email addresses for all council. So we are moving email servers, but it's not going to affect anybody as far as how you contact us. We will still have all the same email addresses, but we will be migrating at some point from one email server to another. And again, all of our email addresses will still remain the same on the back end, and you'll be able to get a hold of us regardless. And then finally is a discussion about the website, which kind of goes with the email. We're trying to do a whole big upgrade on social media, websites, and all that stuff kind of go hand in hand. So we're going to try to move pretty quickly on this. I know that there's been many complaints over the years about the website, so that is going to be overhauled, I think sooner than later, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so look forward to that coming down. And that's about it. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Before we move on, someone is writing in that's online saying if we could confirm the meeting with the neighbors about the Wawa proposal for Walnut Street will be during the regular Borough Council meeting. The 14th, I mean.
A date hasn't been.
Pardon?
A date hasn't been set for that yet.
Okay.
That's it for me.
Sorry.
Parks and Recreation, Council Walter Stubbs.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'd like to ask Mr. Stewart the percentage of this $180 awarded from the Greenway. Do we have the percentages of the objects we want to deal with and how much of a balance? Or do we have all this 180 already covered? You understand my question?
I believe so, and I'm gonna kind of work from backwards to forwards, is that the under the mini programs
Mhm.
that we spoke about last year, the mini program was a planning grant that we engaged Davy Resource Group into looking at both Sycamore Woods and Jacobs Park and coming up with a 5-year plan on what needs to be done to remove all of the non-native species of trees.
Mhm.
Make sure that we have a healthy understory of trees, address the invasive species that's in those 2 urban forest areas, take care of all of the poisonous weeds. The number that Davy Resource Group gave us was about $500,000 over a 5-year plan. The Delco Greenways grant that we submitted for, and this is round 4, so you can see the pattern. Round 1, round 2, round 3, round 4, they anticipate additional rounds. It had a cap, a maximum ask of $250,000. So we asked for the maximum, $250,000. The county saw the merits of our submissions and they decided that it deserved funding. So I received a phone call from the county asking, do we continue to move forward with this project if we were willing to give you, say, $180,000? So considering that there's a 0 match and you're gonna give me $180,000, absolutely. Instead of doing a 2-year plan, which is what was submitted, now we're gonna be doing about 18 months worth of work. And then what we're gonna try to do is Delco Greenways round 5 comes out, we'll be able to say, hey, we have done the mini pro, we've got a plan, we've done the first 18 months worth of a 5-year plan. Let us finish our work here and take a second bite of the apple next year when that round 5 comes out. So does that answer your question?
It's not, it's for the public.
Okay.
Yes, I appreciate.
So yes, it's there's very easily, we will be able to spend over an 18-month period, $180,000 to do improvements in Sycamore Woods and Jacobs Park.
Okay. Now just to butt up to that, if there's a dime left, can we deposit it into the park and recreational?
Unfortunately, the short answer is no.
Okay.
Is that, you know, when you submit for a grant, you specifically tell them what you're gonna spend your grant money on, and you are limited to do what you specifically wrote was your plan.
Okay.
So where we have an advantage here is that we've got $500,000 worth of a plan. We've secured $180,000 worth of funding. So we still have work to do.
Yes.
And I believe that's advantageous to us as a municipality in the fact that it's gonna be very easy for us to ask the county for additional funding. We could say, hey, come out and take a look. This is the before, this is the during. Now let us create an after.
Thank you, sir. And once again, I'm gonna reach out for 2024. That the Park and Recreation Committee wants great ideas to help develop the youth of Morton. If you have anybody that has talent that wants to share it with our young people, please meet with me the first Wednesday of next month at 7 o'clock here at Borough Council. Other than that, there, any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. All right, mayor's report. Managers report, we'll start with you, Mayor.
Say, play rock, paper, scissors for that one? I was like, weather recap, what am I talking about here? There's snow. Mine will actually be, pretty quick. Thank you for all who were here in attendance tonight, for the swearing in. We did let Chief Lawless have a whole 12 hours of freedom before we made him, ensure that he was coming back and to get things kind of going. I really have nothing. I will make note, and I'm just saying this now, so I have to go back. The fire company, we had decided on the 23rd for the Easter egg hunt, but I'm looking at Miss Lockley's proposal for Mr. William Rice, and I will move all mountains and all things to adjust to accommodate this. So I will give an update when we get that back as to what, changing date or whatever that might be timing wise. Other than that, Mr. Stewart, you can talk about all the cool things you put on there. Because I'm assuming they're not for me. I mean, I could song and dance it, but I'll let you have it.
Madam President, I will promise to be brief. We're shortly after 8 o'clock, so we're hitting the home stretch. The white stuff that was coming out of the sky is snow. That was the first time we've seen snow. I think it was 18 months. Mr. Johnson was on par and ready to rock and roll. So all of our equipment had been serviced within the last year. So the plows, the salters, everything was working. He would have liked to have had a partner, I'm sure. Somebody to talk to at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. I offered to, talk to him, but he said he was good to go. But what we did want to sit down, and we did have an opportunity to sit and have a lessons learned on some of the things that we could improve upon. There was some issues where some vehicles were parked very close to intersections, made it either difficult or impossible for the plow to be able to go around that intersection. With that being said, I think what we need to do is take a look at our snow emergency signage, where that is placed. If there is signage that needs to be installed with no parking from here to corner, take those steps in between snowstorms, but also to deploy some striping so that not only do you see the signage, but you also see the pavement markers to let people know that this is the furthest that you can, closest that you could park to the corner. When doing that, if we were to get with Catania Engineering, there's a lot of opportunities. I know Madam Councilor Miller has talked in the past about refreshing the striping on the sidewalk, on the crosswalks.
It needs more than refreshing. It doesn't exist.
We do receive complaints on a annual or routine basis from the fire company that folks are parking in front of the firehouse, which is a designated fire lane for them to park in the event of an emergency. And I've heard some concerns about folks that are blocking fire hydrants. So what we're looking at is to come up with a plan with Catania to review the signage throughout the neighborhoods. Again, Councilor Miller has brought it to our attention on numerous occasions about signs that are leaning or that need to be refreshed. So we take this opportunity to get our signage upgraded, we get our striping upgraded, and in the end, with just going to look like a neater, cleaner neighborhood. So there's more to report on that coming. The folks that are new to council and folks that may want to take a refresher course, Pennsylvania State Association of Boroughs has announced our NEMO program, which is the newly elected municipal officials training. That is coming to Delaware County in February, but I believe the consensus from Madam President, Ms. Dickerson and Ms. Johnson is the preference would be to take the training virtually in March, correct? So Ms. Preston and I will sign up you three specifically for the March training. If there's any other member of council, I've been through this training personally twice And there is a lot of good information that's provided. It's a all day Friday, all day Saturday in person, or the virtual is kind of, I believe, learn at your own pace. Just let me know. And then lastly is, President Miller had requested that we formalize all of the committee assignments, who chairs the committees, who sits on the committees, and come up with a suggested schedule. This is just a proposed schedule. I think it's good that committees meet at least on a quarterly basis. So I've got it set up for a February, May, August, November cycle, and trying to be respectful of everybody's time. I put it in on the Thursday after the council meeting, so that I got everything scheduled for the second and the fourth Thursday. And then specifically, Mr. Stubbs, he has historically had his meetings on a monthly basis. He told me that he'd like to continue to do a monthly basis. So we will advertise that accordingly. So if council can take a look at the proposed schedule, hopefully there's minimal conflicts. And once I get an approval from the president, I'll make the advertisement in the newspaper so these become public meetings. And Madam President, that's all I have to report.
Thank you.
So we have the public
Public
comment.
comment too. All right, at this time, we'll go ahead and start with you, Mr. Hefner, with public comments.
Did you have any additional
Did you-
public comment on the action items?
Michael Lee's next.
No, it's
On the action
just
item,
on action items.
that's an open discussion.
Okay, well, I
You're done.
addressed my comment
Okay,
about the hiring.
okay, great. All right, so we'll move on to, do I have a motion to approve, providing permission to Catania Engineering to prepare and advertise a combined Morton Rutledge 2024 road paving contract?
So moved.
Borough manager, you just do a, you don't have to do a roll call. You can-
You want to do a voice vote?
Yeah, voice, yeah.
So if you want to call for action with a voice vote?
Yes.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? By voice vote, the motion passed unanimously.
Thank you. And do I have a motion to approve providing permission to the borough manager to issue a request for proposal for banking services?
Second.
All in favor, say
All in favor?
Aye.
Madam President, I was just kind of short of the only direction that I'm going to need from council this evening is obviously the request for proposals for the banking services is going to be a multiple week process. I think we need to do our due diligence to make sure that we're getting the best banking services for the municipality. With that being said, the tax collector is looking for direction on which banking facility she puts on the tax bill. Now, Republic currently takes our tax payments. She did send me an email and she can leave that blank saying that all of the tax payments would be received here in the municipality. It's to the pleasure of what the board would like to do. She doesn't believe that it's going to be that much additional work if everybody sends their taxes this year right to the municipality. She will collect those on every couple of days to come and grab the stack and process everything. She's got a check processor that she can run everything through. So it's the direction of the board. We can keep Republic as the bank institution that will collect the tax payments, or we could send them here. It's simply to your pleasure. I don't want to swing the board, but we could probably save $1,000 or so on the lot of funds.
And she can do it in a timely fashion, that there will be no problems.
Because the conversation that I had with her is that she, even though it's going to be an influx of checks,
Mhm.
she does not see that as being something that would be, it's a very accomplished, or she would be able to accomplish it very easily without a lot of headaches.
Okay.
I think you posed your question after they said all in favor, but I don't think we checked to make sure there was no one who said who was opposed to that motion.
Yeah, so anyone opposed?
Right.
Leila?
I'll be quicker to the draw next time.
Yeah.
You shout out of the game on me there.
I did. All right. Do I have a motion to approve providing permission to the borough manager to advertise for the hiring of a full-time public works assistant?
Second.
Okay, I'm going to call for a roll for this. Roll call.
Roll call vote's gonna be, Council Vice President Bernice Dickerson,
Yes.
Counselor Douglas Seeger,
Yes.
Counselor Beth Ann Johnson,
Yeah.
Counselor Michelle Miller,
No,
Council President Shantae Miller,
Yes.
Counselor Michelle Roberts,
Yes.
Counselor Walter Stubbs.
Yeah.
Madam President, the motion will pass with 6 yea, 1 nay.
All right, so our upcoming meetings for next month, council regular meeting will be held on the 14th of February, 2024 at 7 p.m. Following February 28th, 2024 at 7 p.m. We're gonna move on to open discussion. Jackie, just a reminder, you have a 3-minute time. Once it goes in, that's that.
Got it? Jacqueline Guy, 635 Country Lane. I have a question, on the full-time public work assistant. Will the borough be re-interviewing whoever they've interviewed the first time? Do you still have those names? Like, will that be a process and you had already interviewed people, or will these be new people?
I certainly can reach out to the part-time folks that displayed an interest and
Okay.
say that this is now a full-time position.
Okay, that's good. My other question was, it was just really a comment. So one of the things that my husband and I did when recycling started was we went to Home Depot and we bought a recycling bin. The bigger size ones that are already blue and they already have everything. And then I just make sure that everything that goes in there is clean. So that's also an option. They have them from the little guys all the way up to the big ones. I think that was everything I had to say. Thank you and have a wonderful night.
Thank you. Mr. Lee.
Thank you, Madam President. Michael Lee, 123 West Sylvan Avenue, Morton, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, United States of America. Mr. Stewart, you mentioned that the last time it snowed was 18 months ago. That would make it July of 2022. I know the weather's wacky, but it's not that wacky around here. Last time it snowed was in January of 2022. On item 3, under the community and economic development, I'm surprised that Councilor Eager didn't pick up.
Right,
Eager.
Counselor.
Counselor was misspelled. The
Yes.
letter U was
Right.
left out of counselor.
Thank
But
God,
the most
thank God I know, Counselor.
But the most important items I want to mention tonight, first, I want to welcome Chief Lawless to his position. In this day and age, it's not easy to be a lawman, so I want to thank him for his years of service I don't know where he was before here, but I thank him for his years of service as a lawman. I applaud his courage in wanting to pursue that profession. But the most important thing is this. I think it would be a good idea if you could get the word out for everyone, especially if you have children, for everyone to wear reflective clothing. Because the street lighting around here is very poor, especially on my street. At the last meeting, and with these new cars, these LED lights, they literally blind you. I can't see. I came in a crawl space, at a crawl, and someone was actually standing just in the middle of the road, not moving. I actually stopped my car and rolled down, and I said, it's okay to cross the street. I'm not going to hit you. I guess, I don't know whether, I couldn't tell whether it was a male or a female. They said, I'm not going to hit you. So please, wear reflective clothing, and yes, I should follow my own advice as well. Because no one needs to be involved in an accident. Certainly no one in the right mind wants to be a victim. And I have better things to do with the rest of my life than be a defendant in a court case and possibly end up being a guest of the county or the state.
Right.
In all seriousness, I don't need that. I don't want that. And nobody needs or wants to be a victim. Because I've got enough to answer for in the hereafter. I don't want someone's life to be on my conscience as well. So thank you for listening. Good night. May God bless all of you.
God bless
Thank you. Thank you. Anita, looks like you're up next.
I needed to, in my opinion, he spoke on what I was gonna speak on about, the lighting where I live at is so dark. Y'all know we got Elwin on the corner, it ain't even nothing there to say, it's disabled people live here or anything. And another thing, I don't know who they are, you know, I don't wanna approach nobody, but, the people that's not next to me, the next house, they park on the sidewalk. I'm shocked that they didn't get a ticket. They park on the sidewalk every day, daytime, nighttime, and it's just, I don't think it's safe. You know, and it's dark and
I would.
that's all I have to say. Happy New Year, y'all.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Abner?
Bill Hefner, same place I live. I have a couple questions. I noticed the meeting minutes for the last 2 years aren't posted. Are they going to be posted?
They will be posted, yes,
But doesn't the council vote on the accuracy of the minutes?
yes.
So this council was not with those last 2 years.
I have all the minutes posted and this council will be brought up to speed.
All right, I was just curious. I noticed that.
Approving things on a monthly basis.
All right. Second thing, I understand the treasurer is retiring or has retired. And basically, is there anybody replacing this person or what is the plan?
Madam President, in the interim, what we've discussed is to have Brinker Simpson expand their duties to do bank reconciliations and serve in the role as the treasurer until another treasurer is identified and appointed.
I was just curious because we're paying her, I think, about $3,300 a year. I may be wrong. And Brinker Simpson, I believe, is $100 an hour.
Right.
So I'm just concerned about the budget. The reason why I'm asking about the budget is last year, we went over the budget by well over $100,000. And because of the shortfall, I'm just concerned about this year's budget because, you know, we had 80,000 that we needed, last meeting, we juggled the numbers around. And now we have another 50,000 if we, get a full-time groundskeeper. I just don't want to spend more of the taxpayers' money than we bring in. You know, I just want the council to be fiscally responsible on what they do. I've been on the budget committee for a couple of years now, and I believe in keeping within the budget. We're not like a federal government where we can just keep deficit spending. So that is my one question on that. I also like to know if we ever received any 990s from the fire company.
Madam President, to date, we've not received any 990s from the fire company.
We haven't, we have not. No, we have not.
And have we made any payments to the fire company yet?
Madam President, none of the allotments that would typically go to the fire company have been dispersed as of yet.
All right. And then, one other thing is, we've had broken parking meters. I brought up in July of last year, brought it up a couple of times last year. I was wondering if there's going to be any action on just looking into getting the meters repaired. Because that's a substantial amount of money that we're not receiving. I think at one point we budgeted about $15,000 a year income, and it's been adjusted downward to $5,000, which $10,000 is a lot of money that we can use for other things. So I was just curious if there's any plans to go forward and explore
replacing the mirrors in the
Thank you
short
for your
term.
time, Mr. Hefner. Thank you. Thank you for your time. But I do have the gist of your question, and we'll get you an answer, but your time is up.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Bill,
it.
Bill, I'd like to talk to you about that.
Pardon?
I'll talk to you about that after the meeting.
Okay.
No, Bill will be able to answer your questions separately.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, we just, thank you.
So Madam President, in regards to comments on the meters, unfortunately, those meters are antiquated. I've not been able to identify anybody over the last 12 months plus that would be able to do any repairs of what I'll call the guts of the meter. So I would say that Mr. Hefner is correct that probably about 20% of the meters are not functional, meaning we cannot put a quarter in it and put time. We do have an auto pay by phone function, so that if a resident wanted or a visitor of Morton wanted to park, say, in the municipal lot for the train, they do have the opportunity to be able to pay by phone. I believe that the police have kind of turned a blind eye to folks that are parked in spaces that have broken meters. But we are looking at the potential of putting a kiosk in for both the business district and the municipal lot, but it's again gonna take time.
Yeah, there's a question online. Can you mention if the recycling truck comes very early? Last week it was around 7, much earlier than the Monday pickup. And I think that depends on where you live, because the trucks are out on the street at 7 a.m. trash or recycling. Maybe on this particular street, they're picking up the recycling later on Thursday. Shelley, you have any comments beyond that?
I don't know how to gauge that. Like I said, to me, and last week, because of our weather circumstances, that threw a delay in just trash in general being picked up. So do they have a certain time frame? Right.
They don't start up the night before.
Hmm?
They start up the night before.
Right, you can put stuff up the night before, it's just the fact that they're asking that they came earlier.
Yeah, I think the way it's set up is to have a window of opportunity to
Right,
pick up trash.
exactly.
Whether they come and get it, it could vary every week.
Mhm.
They can come get you at 9 one week and then
Yes,
4
exactly.
o'clock in the afternoon the next. That's really up to their discretion.
And they also do recycling in Rutledge on Thursdays. So it's convenient to do both of us. I believe they do. That was their schedule last year.
I would treat it as your normal trash pickup. Have your trash out the night before.
Madam President, if I may. Is there a law on how long trash cans are going to be laying on the ground? Because I look down my street, Harding Avenue, when the trash people come through, trash cans are out there.
You do have an ordinance, and if you have a neighborhood that's having difficulty with, you can ask Mr. Shankly to have some enforcement. Generally, I think he goes out with warnings first and then starts ticketing.
Well, I appreciate the start putting these warnings out there, because they put out the trash. And then I personally used to leave during the summer months, I leave 2 bottles of water on top of the trash cans. And he would put the trash can up by my garage, away from the street. The rest of the neighborhood, rest of the Harding Avenue, there's Sister Whiteside, she brings her son, he brings it in, but most of Harding Avenue, the trash cans are out laying in the street. If the wind's blowing, you got to maneuver around automobiles. So I'm just saying, we need to enforce what time these trash cans got to be picked up, and or raise the taxes so that the maintenance of Morton can pick it up.
I think what's happening is, at least just something, because I work remote, that I noticed. I think what happens is they're picking up the trash after most people have left for work, and they're not putting them back until after they get home from work. I understand what you're saying though, because to be quite honest, I'm guilty, because I am sitting at home all day. I probably don't get my trash can until about 1 o'clock, but I do think, just for my neighbors, I think it is simply because they have left for work and the trash isn't being picked up till after they've gone.
And if I could, we live now in the, I say in the town that some of us don't even know our neighbors. And neighbors are not courteous. Some of them don't even want to know you. And I say that because some of them don't even want to get involved. Yet they pick the community to come live in, but don't want to be a part of the community.
Absolutely.
So these are the things that we as neighbors, like I said, I know on my street, my neighbors say, oh, here comes the block captain, because I tend to trash. I mean, I say it all the time. Nobody respects trash. People just blatantly put trash out irregardless. You're putting your trash out, contain your trash. Put it in a bag, tie it up. Respect one another. This is important to enhance our community. We have that obligation to one another.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One of the things we want to do is we update our website and getting the information out there. We could put the ordinance on the website. Let them know. Sometimes people need to be reminded. When trash is not to go out before 6. This is what you need to do. Cutting everything. So we're going to ask that be added to our website.
Website's gonna be great.
All right, motion to adjourn.
Yes, all right. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Have a good night.
Thank you.